We will start with today's second session. So, second session will be handled by our chief guest. So, she will be handling this session also. Ms. Kasturi Patel, Senior Application Engineer at ANSYS. She is an accomplished engineer and researcher with a strong background in antenna design, development, and measurement, combining both academic and industrial expertise. She holds over 5 years of teaching and research experience and more than 5 years of industry experience in high frequency engineering. Her doctoral research focuses on implantable antennas, machine learning, and deep learning applications using advanced tools such as HFSS and CST. She has previously been associated with VIT University and IIT Mandi, Himachal Pradesh. She is an ANSYS certified professional in high frequency RF and microwave antenna technologies. She has delivered over 210 webinars, 85 faculty development programs, numerous guest lectures across India's top engineering institutions. She has also published several research papers in reputed journals and conferences. Her a remarkable innovator, she even developed a patent electronic baby cradle during her undergraduate studies. We are delighted to have such a dynamic and knowledgeable professional with us today. Ma'am, we welcome you for today's session. Ma'am will be handling flexible antenna design using HFSS software. Over to you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Such a wonderful introduction you have given. So before starting the session, I would like to know from audiences. I will, of course, complete this flexible antennas. I'll take that part. But some of you are interested in metamaterial unit cell design also and how to find out those graphs. So at the end of the session, I will, if you people are interested, I will show how to find out these graph in ANSYS HFSS itself. So before we used to design in HFSS and then we used to keep in MATLAB and then we could able to see the graphs. But we can directly do all those things in ANSYS HFSS. If you people are interested, I would like to show that part also at the end of the session. Okay, so I'll start with the first ANSYS
Yes, ma'am.
products. What are the ANSYS high frequency tools? Why I would like to mention this part here, because in academics we are only using HFSS, high frequency structure simulator, and in industry apart from that we are using SI wave, we have IcePack, EMC plus, Charge plus, Q3D extractor. So I would like to add these other tools also, so that if anyone interested little bit also to work on these tools, that will be helpful for them if they are interested to come to the industry. So apart from HFSS, if you have a little bit knowledge of HFSS or SI wave or IcePack or EMC plus, that would be one of the important parts, so that you will get a easy placement in industry. So that's the reason I would like to show all ANSYS products, and then we will move towards the designing part, how flexible antennas we can able to design. I'm going to share my screen. We all know ANSYS is a leader in simulation market. It has started 50 years ago with ability to solve 2D partial differential equation. Initially, it has ability to solve problems related to structures, and it has slowly gained ability to solve problems related to CFD by solving Navier-Stokes equation. Then it has ability to solve the problems related to Maxwell equations also, so that we can have this electronic suit. Now it has a market size twice of its near competitor. ANSYS is mainly focusing on simulation, and where it is related to multi-physics. We have proven that we have high standards and we have market capitalization more than $32 billion. We have committed over customer satisfaction by 92% as per 2023 scenario. ANSYS is capable of more than 1,000 plus employees globally. It has offices all over the world, more than 150 channel partner it has. So this is the biggest part of the ANSYS. Here you can able to see ANSYS portfolio, where these are different domains where ANSYS is working. So ANSYS is software suite for engineering simulation and 3D design. It is widely used by engineers and researchers in various industries including aerospace, defense, automotive, then defense energy, energy sector also, as well as healthcare and so on. So ANSYS stands for Analysis a System. So let's talk about this portfolio. We can see here these are the different domains where people are working. Let's suppose I'm taking one tool, that is Granta MI. So in terms of materials, we all are using materials for different antenna design, right? Like FR4 is there, polyamide is there, Roger 30, Roger 6010, like that. Suppose you want to invent some new materials, this Granta MI is one of the important tool, or here one of the biggest libraries also available. So let's suppose we want to design the vacuum cleaner. So whenever we are designing vacuum cleaner, that time we are considering smallest part of the segment, like how it is taking even dust particle or even hair particles, everything, hair thickness, hair size, everything we will consider. That's how the whole process will be. So whenever we are designing any product, at the end product, if you consider, first step would be its simulation design. Why? Because it will save our time and money. Before 30 or 40 years ago, people directly used to design prototype. And suppose once the prototype is designed and we are going to see about its testing, and maybe many of the times that testing will be failed. So it is at that time it was wasting their time and money both. So simulation is helping us, whatever we are going to do at the fabrication end or product development end, these simulations are helping us to save our time. Number of iterations we can do in simulations and it will save our time. So apart from that, if I'm talking about embedded software, ScareSuite is one of the important tool people are using in academics for mainly EV design, where ADAS or IoT related work we can able to do. Safety analysis, here we have digital safety manager, Medley analyzer for then Medley analyze for cybersecurity. Mainly it is for data. Whatever data we have, that data should be properly saved, or process also we want to do, then this safety analysis will help us to work with that. Structures and fluids, these are the domains where people are working with mechanical engineering. And our today's one of the important part is ANSYS electronics. In that today we are going to focus on HFSS part. Apart from HFSS, in electronics we have Maxwell, SI-Wave, IcePack, MotorCAD, Q3D extractor, Newhart filter, EMC plus and Charge plus. Again, one of the important segment of electronics engineering, that is semiconductor. Those are interested to work related to semiconductor. For them, these are the important tools, which includes radocracy, electrothermal, totem, power artist, rafter edge, and so on. Now, suppose we want to see the real-time whole system. I want to design the whole EV. Those things, like all the separate things, we can design in different tools, like PCB related signal integrity, power integrity, I can see in electronics, or battery related, suppose any work is there, I can see in IcePack. But whole system, suppose I want to design and see either it is running properly or giving a proper output or not, that time digital twin is one of the important tool ANSYS has, that will help us. So it will show all in and out everything detail, so that once we'll go for fabrication or prototype designing, we will get a very accurate results. Apart from that, those are very much interested to related to the research work in optics and photonics. They have the tools mainly SPEOS, ZMAX, and numerical FTTD, and so on. These are our worldwide companies using ANSYS platform for research and development and product development. These are our academic customers, which includes IITs, NITs, triple ITs, then in private university, BITS Pilani, VIT University, and all states which having autonomous institute or top institute, they are also using this platform for designing our research purpose mainly. So in case of high frequency product collection, these are the main important tools mainly used for the electronics engineering department. One of the tool we all know, that is HFSS, high frequency structure simulator. Here we are all designing antennas, metamaterial unit cell arrays, and so on. 5G related antennas, 6G related antennas also HFSS is helping. Apart from that, radar related work or antenna placement on some different object, this HFSS is helping us. In case of SI-Wave, this is dedicatedly used for the PCBs. So we all know PCB boards, right? Either it is single layer PCB or multiple layer PCB. SI Wave is helping to find out signal integrity, power integrity, EMI/MC analysis. Then we all know about Arduino Nano or Raspberry Pi boards, right? So suppose we are generally providing 5 volt to the circuit. Suppose excessive voltage unknowingly could be provided to the PCB board, any PCB board. There is a high chance ICs or that whatever components available, they might be getting burned. So this kind of situation should not happen. That's why ice pack is we generally using for thermal management part. So it is helping us to find out or predict airflow, temperature, heat transfer in IC packages, PCBs, electronics assembly, as well as power electronics. So basically ice pack is CFD solver which is used for the thermal management part. So this ice pack is one of the tool which is used for electronics purpose, also in mechanical engineering also, where engine related work is happening and where is a chance heat is generating. In all those applications ice pack is useful. Next we have Q3D extractor. So on the PCB, again this tool is used for the PCBs only. On PCB we have a transmission line like tracks, you can able to see, right? So those tracks are nothing but a transmission line. So where on the PCBs we can able to find out, suppose someone want to find out inductance, capacitance, resistance, conductance, those values we can find using Q3D extractor. Basically parasitic extraction it is helping us to find out. Then next tool is EMC plus. So you can able to see these are the outer line of the cable, and inside that so many small cables are there. So in such a complex environment there is a high chance EMI EMC loss will happen, and that kind of simulation or that kind of uh, results or crosstalk analysis in the cables we can able to see in EMC plus. And next one is charge plus. Mainly charge plus is used in charging and discharging phenomena like aerospace and defense application. I would like to give you here one example. Drone suppose traveling from one place to another place and suddenly rain started, thunder started, or environmental conditions got changed. In such a case, what will happen? There is high chance internal structure or internal PCB structure may get damaged. So that's why this charge plus we are using. Because of this, there will be charging and discharging path, and in such a complex environment condition, discharging path should get activated and it will save the internal PCB structure of the drone. So that's how this charge plus also useful. Now you can able to see these are the different application areas where we can use high frequency tools, mainly wireless communication, automotive industry, smart devices, aerospace and defense, networking, biomedical engineering, power generation and transfer, then industrial equipments. Suppose more than two receivers would be there, one transmitter is there, then trans receiver communication, how to do that kind of analysis also we can able to see in HBSS. And here are the applications where you can able to see antenna designing, RF interference we can able to see in HFSS and EMIT. Specific absorption rate we can able to see in HFSS. Large scale platforms interaction like antenna placement on tower or antenna placement on car or antenna placement on garage, everything we can able to see in HFSS. Then signal integrity, power integrity we can do in SI wave. Then these are the other applications I will show in
Excuse
coming
me, ma'am.
slides. So we all know how to
Excuse
design
me, ma'am.
antenna.
Ma'am,
Hello.
ma'am,
Yes.
is it possible to do? Is it
Please
possible
go
to
ahead.
do the certifications in ANSYS, ma'am? Is it available, ma'am? Can we have this exposure on all the tools?
Yeah, yeah. You can do that. There are two ways. One is ANSYS innovation courses. ANSYS has learning platforms. I will show once this presentation gets over. Now I will show you all those two platforms, how to go to that platform and free, how you can register your Gmail. You can register basically from your Gmail account, and you can have ANSYS innovation courses. Those are free. There are paid courses also which are available on ANSYS Learning Hub. So if you have a licensed version of ANSYS, there is a high chance your institute will probably purchase or might be having this ANSYS Learning Hub. So you can ask in your purchase department, they can provide you email and password. So through that ANSYS Learning Hub, you can have certification. Like those are big courses in ANSYS Learning Hub, and in ANSYS Innovation courses, there are almost 189 courses available in RF domain, and each course will take almost 2 to 3 hours. But in case of ALH, these courses will be big courses, like it will take 25 hours or 30 hours, depending on the what type of course you're selecting. Suppose you're selecting 5G related, so it is taking almost 35 hours time. So likewise, both different platforms you will have, and one platform is free and one is paid.
Ah,
Okay,
okay,
I
ma'am.
hope you understood. I will show you once this presentation gets over. I'll show you both the platforms so that if anyone interested, they can register there and they can have certification.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Shall I move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Shall I move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we all know how to design antennas. Basically, we are first designing theoretically using mathematical calculations. We will design the antenna, then those parameters will put in a HFSS and we'll create a geometry. Once the geometry is ready, based upon what kind of applications you are looking for, we will select a solver. Suppose I want to design simple microstrip antenna, I will go for HFSS solvers. Suppose I want to design antenna placement on car, in that case SBR plus solvers are useful. Suppose I want to design drone, then as HFSS IE solvers are used. So likewise, with different application, different solvers we are preferring. And then once the design is ready, we are applying, once the solver we are applied, then excitations will provide to the antenna, radiation box will provide to this design, and then we'll finally run the simulation. Once the simulation is done, there are basically two types: pre-processing and post-processing. Pre-processing means while designing on theoretically to that all parts, like how we are creating the ground plane or substrate, or on the top layer how we are designing that, or we are applying whatever boundary conditions and radiation box, everything will come in pre-processing. In post-processing we can able to see the results. So once the pre-processing part done, we suppose started running the simulation, we suppose we got a results also. In that case, suppose my antenna I want to design at ISM band and it is not giving a proper resonance, again I should go for the optimization. So this is a whole process for designing the antenna. So apart from antennas, what are the other applications we can able to do here? We can design here waveguide, filters, IC packages, and we can collaborate with HFSS and SIV. We can able to see EMMC analysis, radar related simulations also we can able to design in ANSYS HFSS. Again, in case of ANSYS SIWave, this is mainly dedicated use for the PCBs, where we are using solvers like finite element method and method of movement. I hope many of you, those are completed PhD, they might have computational electromagnetics, one of the subject which is available on NPTEL. So there, what kind of solvers we can able to use, or why these kind of solvers are more preferable, everything in detail available in that course or in that subject. Almost it is 4 credit course generally universities are offering. And in SIWave we can able to see PCB signal integrity calculation, PCB power delivery calculation, high speed serial channel design, DC current and voltage distribution, and so on. In case of Q3D, I already discussed about this, but real-time application of this Q3D are our mobile's touchscreen panel, connectors, bus bars, packages, lead frames, transmission line, cable characterizations, etc. In EMIT, again, we can more than 2 antennas are supposed there at a receiver, the transceiver communication we can able to see in EMIT. That is not a separate tool, but it's part of this electronics bundle. In case of ANSYS IcePack, we, as I said, it is used for PCBs thermal management. Not only PCB, here we can able to do thermal management of chips, IC packages, board level assemblies, backplane assembly, system level assemblies, as well as supercomputers or server room assembly also. So that heating part we can able to identify, and we can able to rectify that when we are going to do it in real computer, supercomputer, or in real server rooms. Now next, in case of EMC plus, you can see this is the outer line of cable. This is so many cables or conductors available here. So apart from that, crosstalk or EMI/MC loss, we can able to find out here radiated coupling to cable, radiated emission from cables, coupling through shields, EMI crosstalk between cable, current return network optimization, cable signal integrity, HRF fields, and cable coupling. Now, one more example I would like to tell you. Recently, we have done one project where EV related work we were doing. So that BMC part where battery management were there. So from that we have many cables from each other. There were connections, and then that input we are providing to some other module. So in such a complex places also, basically what we are doing, we are connecting two points or segments on that cable, and we have to identify each segments, either it is working properly or any crosstalk happening there or not. So likewise, hold the system when we are designing, that time these kind of tools are very much important to identifying crosstalk between cables or cable signal integrity, current return network optimization, or whatever voltage is generating at that particular point. All the details we could able to see. That's why I will push you to learn all the remaining tools also. There are platforms available, ANSYS innovation courses, all basic level high frequency tools, details or simulations or basics you can able to get it there freely. So, and apart from that, YouTube is best platform. ANSYS has its own YouTube channel, ANSYS Learning. Also, ANSYS How to, like that one name is there, ANSYS How to. You can able to go to YouTube and check that channel. You can able to see all the important information related all ANSYS tools. So you have to identify which is more relevant to you, go to that particular video and learn. So that's how self-paced based learning you can able to do. Those courses available on ANSYS Learning Hub, same courses are freely available on Google and YouTube also. So, but the disadvantage only on YouTube is you unable to get that certificate. If you are enrolling in ANSYS Learning Hub, you will get certificate. That's all. And every course, after every course, you have to write some tests, and then you can able to generate the certificate. That's the process. So, in case of, I hope my screen is visible. Can you one of you can confirm that, please?
Yes, madam, visible.
Okay, okay. So ANSYS Charge Plus, we have other examples here, which includes arcing in HV system, HV switches, lightning attachment modeling, then solid dielectric breakdown, EST, gun, etc. In case of ANSYS HFSS, those are very new to the software. For them, ACT extension plays very important role. Here in HFSS antenna toolkit, you will get a lot of antennas freely available. Approximately 22 types of different antennas are available here. You have to just go there and say choose any one of the antenna and operating frequency you have to choose and synthesize that design. It will automatically give all the parameters of that particular operating frequency and just finish that process. Geometry for that particular antenna automatically will be created. That's all. You just have to run the simulation and you have to see the results. That's how this SCT extension will help you to understand all the steps, how you can able to generate the geometry, everything in detail you could able to see there. These are other some examples where we can see high frequency tools. In first figure you can able to see signal integrity, power integrity analysis. In second figure, basically this is animated one, but now it has some issues. So what exactly happening here, vehicles are traveling from one place to another place. So in that case, gain radiation pattern also are getting changed. In every vehicle there will be antenna, right? So accordingly that gain radiation pattern will change when vehicle is moving one place to another place. Next is 3D filter, and the fourth figure shows RF coside in aeroplane. If one transmitter is there and more than two receivers are there, or trans-receiver communication in aeroplane you want to see, that time RF coside. This tool is also important. Next one is smartphone biocompatibility. Whenever any device comes contact with the human body, due to that device human body should not get affected. That's the main concept behind the biocompatibility. So apart from that, we are always considering SAR analysis. We all know, suppose we are using mobile more than 35 or 40 minutes, our ear and mobile also start getting heated. So that's where this SAR analysis will come in picture. We all know for all companies SAR analysis they are doing, and that SAR analysis value is always below 1.6 watt per kg. Next example is talking about antenna placement. So here you can able to see this is the left mirror of the antenna. There I have placed FIPA antenna. So antenna placement on some different object. This kind of simulations also we can able to do. So in 5G communication, this is the fastest communication we all know, where we can able to communicate car to car, or by smart variables, or water level we can able to, water quality also we can able to identify. IoT we can able to keep in the process, so that internet of things and many other combinations we can able to do with 5G. And why? Because this is the fastest communication way. So last part I want to show about this ANSYS courses. Yeah. So this is ANSYS Innovation Space. You can directly go to ANSYS platform and type their ANSYS Innovation Space, or you can directly go to Google, type their ANSYS Innovation Space, and register with any Gmail account. So I have registered with my Gmail account here. You can able to see my name. And in this free courses, just click on free courses. There are 189 courses available freely for ANSYS Innovation course, and in ANSYS Learning Hub more than 1000 plus recorded workshops are there. 240 plus courses are available. This is basically ANSYS campus. Here you can able to see electromagnetics, optics, structures, elastina, fluids, and so on. So this is the platform I would like to show on Google also. Just go to ANSYS Innovation courses. So here you can able to see this. You have to select electronics in the filters. Click on electronics and filter results. So only electronics related courses you could able to see. Before that, just log in with any Gmail account. So here more than 189 courses are available. Those are very much relevant to your interest. You can register over here. There are some simulation courses also available, like here electromagnetic material interaction. You can able to see, or waveguide related simulation. Either it is rectangle waveguide or circular waveguide. You can able to see in this course. And this is about the ANSYS Innovation course. And next one is ANSYS Learning Hub. So directly go to ANSYS Learning Hub, and you can able to see. Actually, I have logged in before, so directly you could able to see here. So this is the ANSYS campus. Click on electromagnetics. So in the electromagnetics, you can able to see these are the all courses, which includes EMC plus, Charge plus, ANSYS, Concept EV, Electronics Desktop, HFSS, IcePack, Maxwell, MotorCAD, Q3 Text Detector, SI Wave, and Sim Matrix Filter. These are the all high frequency tool, or in ANSYS Electronics campus you can able to see. These are the remaining campuses. Based upon our interest, we can learn. So now we are going to see about today's one of the important design, that is flexible antenna. How to design the flexible antenna. I'm going to.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, please go ahead.
Ma'am,
Yes.
what is the learning hub, ma'am? What is it, ma'am?
This is ANSYS Learning Hub.
Okay, ma'am. Is it the paid course, or how to access it, ma'am? The course.
ANSYS Learning Hub is paid one. Whenever any institute purchasing ANSYS software, licensed software.
In our institution, we have single user license, ma'am. So, is
but
it possible
if it is research license, then probably you will have ANSYS Learning Hub subscription. If it is
Okay, ma'am.
generally when it is single license version, generally it will be research only. Otherwise, they will give 25 teaching licenses. So I hope your institute will have research license only, since they have one license, and they probably purchase this ANSYS Learning Hub subscriptions also.
Okay, ma'am. I will check, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So shall I move towards the designing part?
Yes,
Ah,
ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
So I'll show you step by step how we can able to design this whole flexible antenna. Let's start with new design. So we will first assign the variables for this antenna. Go to project and click on project variable. Here I am going to add the variables. First variable is width of the patch. It is represented by WP. So WP is variable. Unit type I am keeping length, so it will be always in millimeter. Value for this width of the patch is 39 mm. One first parameter has been created. Now we will add a second parameter, that is LP. And this LP value is 29 mm. Third parameter we are going to add, that is WF, that is feed width, capital W small f. Unit type is length, and this WF value is 3.012 mm. Fourth variable is LF, capital L small f. Length, this is, and LF is 14 mm. Then the next variable is L, capital L INS, which is 10 mm. WINS, next variable is, and this value is 5 mm. H represents height of the substrate. Again, in type I am considering length. H value is 1.6. We all know this FR4 variable, FR4 substrate will come in three variables. First is 1.1 mm, 1.2 mm and 1.6 mm. 1.6 mm is generally we are using because it is easily available and cheap in cost. Then thickness of this copper, which is 0.035 mm, and WG represents ground width, and this value is dollar. It's a combination actually. You can directly type this 48.6 or you can type it like WP plus 6 time $6 time H. So this value is 48.6 mm, and we have next variable R, which is represent the radius, because we are going to first create a blank cylinder, and near to that or perpendicular to that we will create our first layer, that is a ground plane, and we are going to wrap that sheet to that cylinder. That's why this radius is important. So R value is 15 mm, and the next variable is length of the ground. $LP. Sapna ma'am and Pooja ma'am, good evening. I have seen you both are here.
Good evening, Asturi. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you, ma'am.
Yeah, I too.
So here the value is $LP plus $LF minus $LINS minus 3 times of height H. So click on OK. So this is LG value, that is 28.2 mm. Just click on apply, click on OK. We have already assigned all the parameters. First we'll start with the cylinder design. First, before that we have to go to first change the plane. We are in XY plane, changing it into XZ plane, and we are going to create one cylinder. Go to draw and click on cylinder, and here in anywhere in the plane just draw a cylinder. So once it is done, we have to give its positions also. So 0, 0, minus $R minus $H. You have to type it over here. This is minus 16.6 mm. We are along the y-axis. Radius you have to write as $R, and height of the cylinder is $LG, and just click on apply, click on OK, press Ctrl D. So this is the cylinder we have created. I hope it is visible. Now we have to change the plane. Go to again XY plane, and now we have to create one sheet. Go to draw and draw a rectangle. So we are giving here position for this sheet also. This is basically our ground plane minus $WG by 2, comma 0, comma minus $H, enter. So these values are minus 24.3 mm, comma 0 mm, comma minus 1.6 mm. We are along the Z axis. X size is $WG, which is 48.6, and Y size is $LG, which is 28.2 mm. Click on apply, click on OK. You can see this is the rectangle which is exactly perpendicular to the cylinder. Now we need to wrap this to the sheet. Plane perpendicular to z-axis. That is, we have this is basically our ground plane. Now we have to select both this geometry, cylinder and ground together, and we have to wrap this around the cylinder. So again, go to rectangle and press Ctrl and select this sheet also. Right click. These are the one of the important step where people are doing mistake, and probably this wrapping is creating issue for them. Right click, edit, then surface and wrap sheet. Edit, then go to surface, so you can see here we have done this wrapping around the cylinder. First we are keeping this thickness 0 mm, and then we'll increase it. First we will assign this as a ground, this rectangle one. You can change color as per your convenience. Again select the again ground, right click, edit, then go to surface and create object from the face, because we are going to again create here the second layer of the design, that is FR4 substrate. So that's why using the same object we are going to create a second layer, that is a FR4. Just click on create object from the face. First select the face. Rotate the design and select the face. Go to select the face here and then select this. So you can see here second object has been created using first rectangle one. If you are not selecting face properly, it will show error, as you could able to see before on the screen. So always go to face and before it was on object, that's why that error was coming. We have to go to face and then select that particular face, right click. After that, select surface, edit surface, and create object from the face. Now this is our second layer, that is FR4 substrate. Here I'm going to add its thickness 1.6 mm. So how to do that? Again, go to edit, right click, surface, and I want to increase the thickness of the surface, that is 1.6. I'm going to create. Click on thicken sheet and type here 1.6 mm. Click on OK. You can see here we have two layers now. First one is, this is the ground plane, ground, and this is the FR4. Now you have to change material for that. Double click on that. You can go to material and edit it and select, type here FR4. FR4 epoxy I'm going to select over here, and color you can choose as per your convenience. Okay, so we have in the solids vacuum, which is cylinder, that is no need to change, keep it as it is. Change the material for this, if the layered one, the rectangle which we have created from the ground, and the first one which is a ground plane, that is 2D geometry, so it will automatically consider as a copper. So two layers we have completed. Now we are going to create the third part. Now we are going to design the feed line of the patch. After that, we'll create a rectangle patch, fourth step. So now I will here create a feed line first. Go to project, draw, and select rectangle. Draw rectangle anywhere in the plane. Type the position minus $WF by 2, comma 0, comma thickness is T, so select $T. So its values are minus 1.506 mm, comma 0 mm, comma 0.035 mm. We are along the z axis. X size is $WF and Y size is $LF. So you can see this feed line has been created here. Okay, so now next step is to create a patch. Go to draw, again anywhere in the plane, draw rectangle and type here position $WP by 2, comma $LF minus $LINS, comma $T. This is the evaluated value 19.5 mm, comma 4 mm, comma 0.035 mm. X size is $WP, which is 39 mm, and Y size is $LP, 29. So you can see here rectangle has been created over here. Positions are minus WP by 2, comma $LP, LF minus $LINS, comma T. That's all. Just click on OK. So this is the rectangle sheet we have created. Now we are going to create a gap over here so that feed once if we are creating here gap, we are going to create inside feed microstrip patch antenna. So that's why this gap is needed. Again, go to draw a rectangle, anywhere in the plane draw a rectangle, and this is the gap dimensions minus dollar WINS by 2 comma dollar LF minus dollar LINS comma T dollar T. So its positions are minus 2.5 mm, comma 4 mm, comma 0.035 here along the z axis. X size is dollar WNS, Y size is dollar LINS. Apply. You can see over here and okay. Now we have to select this patch and gap and subtract that. First select a patch and then press Ctrl and select this gap. Go to modeler, go to boolean, subtract. So you can see here gap has been created. Now we are going to add this patch plus this feed line. So again select rectangle 3 and rectangle 2, simultaneously go to modeler, go to boolean and unite. So you can see this patch and feed line has been united now. Now we have to wrap this radiating element to the substrate. So select the substrate and radiating element together. Again same process we have to follow. Go to right click, then go to edit surface and wrap sheet. Radiating this radiated element conformed or perpendicular to this cylindrical surface. So we are going to do that process now. Right click, edit surface, so you can see we have wrapped this around this substrate FR4. Now here one of the important part is to give excitation. For these layers, for the patch and ground, you can enhance the thickness with the 0.035 mm. We'll do that. Right click, Edit. Surface and thicken it by 0.035 mm. Similarly, we can do it for ground plane also. And this is copper layer. So first layer is ground layer, which is we are showing here with the copper layer. Second one is substrate FR4. Third one is patch, again copper. So you can see here there are basically two lines on the top and on the bottom that we have to use here for exciting this. Now again change the face. Instead of face, select the edges because we are going to create here excitation now. So you can see this is edge 231 and this is edge 246. So these two will help us to create the excitation. We have to select first this top edge, edge 231, and go to modeler, and here we have to go to edge, and after that we have to select here create object from edge. So here you can see below one object will be created from this. Then you have to right click, select, right click, edit, select this, right click, edit, then go to duplicate, and here we have to select along the line. Once it is done, we have to type here 0, 0, 1 point minus 1.67 mm because height thickness of that substrate FR4 is 1.6. Type there those values. 1.6 is the height of this substrate, and on the top layer and bottom layer 0.035 copper layers both are there. That's why I'm selecting a minus 1.67 mm. Enter and click on close. Okay, so here duplicate also created. Once again, I'll repeat the steps so that you'll understand. Just go to first line and then we have to right click on the top edge. Create object from this. Once it is done, go to object. It will create. It has already created here inside this line. Now select that, right click, edit, and then go to duplicate and click here, select along the line. You have to select this to the second end. Just drag to the end point. So after that we have to select the both lines. You can able to see here I have selected rectangle 3 and rectangle 3 again duplicate. Go to edit, right click surface, and after that click on connect. So you can see one rectangle automatically created where we are going to apply the excitation. Save, and we will excite the port over here. I hope you understood this step. This dragging part is pretty much interesting so that we can connect directly through the line and we can create one rectangle. Generally for simple microstrip patch antenna we will create a rectangle along the axis. For this flexible antennas we have to use this edges and duplicate concept. Right click, excitation, port, lumped port, 50 ohm impedance, integration line, new line from the bottom to top, defined, next, finish. Now for the ground plane and patch, we'll apply perfect electrical boundary condition. We'll create radiation box for 2.4 gigahertz frequency because this is antenna for 2.4 gigahertz frequency. And we'll run the simulation. This is ground plane. This is patch. Right click, assign boundary, perfect E. So here we have assigned perfect E boundary condition. Then right click, create open region, radiation box, create for 2.4 gigahertz frequency. You can see radiation box has been created over here. Analysis, right click, add solution setup, advanced, 2.4 gigahertz frequency. Okay. I'm reducing the points 101. We'll save this 3D fields. We just click on OK. We will assign here. We'll see 3D radiation. Azimuthal plane. Elevation plane. Okay, so just save the design. We'll do validation check and we'll run the simulation. So these are the steps how we are going to do for this flexible antennas. I hope you understood the steps. Any doubt? If anyone have, you can write in chat box or can unmute yourself and ask. Before that, I would like to ask you, how many of you are interested to know about the metamaterial? How to see the graphs for this metamaterial?
You can raise your hand. The meet, you can raise your hand. How many of them interested to see the metamaterial result in HFSS software itself?
Okay, this is the resonance we are getting. We need to do again here some modifications in the parameter because operating frequency is 2.4. But this is the steps how we can wrap it and how we can able to see the results. So still I want to see the radiation pattern 3D and 2D. For this antenna, this is the 3D gain. This is elevation plane, azimuth plane we'll see. D plot. So this is the 3D gain. which is minus 6.85, and these are the 2D gains. When phi is equal to 0, it is showing in red color. When phi is equal to 90, it is showing in green color. In chat box.
How many of them interested to see the metamaterial results? You can raise your hand. Depending upon the participants, ma'am will explain.
Otherwise, if you have any two participants are interested, okay, I'll directly show how to do that. There are some formulas. You might have gone through the paper. I'll show that paper also. We all know about this Newman 2013 paper, and extraction of material parameters for metamaterial using full wave simulator. This is the reference paper basically we are all using for metamaterial design. Unit cell they have provided how boundary conditions we can apply, all details they have provided, and here these are the equations we all know: S11, S21, how to find impedance. Then we have E and K naught D, this is one variable. Then we have refract index, we have and finally from these all equations we can able to find out permittivity and permeability. But in this paper finally they have provided the graphs also, and what is the code for MATLAB they have given. You can directly use this. Also there is a other way. I will show you the same example here. This is metamaterial unit cell. This is the details for how, where is the boundary condition, which is boundary condition, at what phase fluctuate port is used. Everything in detail you can able to see. If you all are using HFSS, this is available in open examples. Go to HFSS and go to metamaterials and select this split ring resonator. Once you open it, here below you can able to see one PDF. So ANSYS is providing you detail over here. Use that PDF. Here you can able to see all the output variables. You have to type manually these variables. How to do that? That also I'll show you. But these all formulas you should type manually. So there are 10 formulas basically. I'll show in the simulation itself. I will first run the simulation. You can save it.
Sorry, no, it's after post processing.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. After post processing.
Okay.
After post processing only we have to add this manually. So same formulas you can use whatever metamaterial unit cell design shape you are using. You can use the same concept, same formulas. So you have to go to results, right click, and then go to model solution data report, go to rectangle plot, and here output variables you can able to see. Just click on that. Already it is added here, but whenever you are designing any unit cell you have to manually add. Type it here, name. First variable is this EPS underscore E effective underscore TM, and this is the formula for that: N underscore E effective underscore TM divided by Z underscore E effective underscore TM. And then click on add. This will automatically add here. First of all, already this added here, so it is showing this output variable with name is already exist. You can update also by changing those. Likewise, you have to do for remaining all 10. So for the PDF, you can take a screenshot or you can directly access. It is available in the open examples. You have to type all the formulas manually, and that's all. And you can able to see finally with the refractive index, then impedance, real time, imaginary, real and imaginary. Once again, I need to run the simulation. I have done update over here, that's why this are blank. I need to again run the simulation so that we could able to see these graphs. So in HBSS we can do many things, like nowadays PyEdit is also starting. Through code you can create a geometry, but complex geometry it's little bit tedious, so it's better to directly go with HBSS. Its initial phase for this coding part, so it will take another 2-3 years for being through coding we can able to design. But still, if you are doing any complex design, I will prefer HBSS direct design only instead of doing coding.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
PDF, yes. I have checked it in student version, it is available.
Yeah, it's available, right?
Yeah, available.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. The simulation is in process. If anyone have any doubt, they can ask. I already crossed the timing. It's 9:06. In between, if anyone have any doubt, please ask. This will take some 2-3 minutes more to get simulation complete. So meanwhile, if anyone have any doubt, write in chat box or you can unmute and ask.
Ma'am, I have
Yes,
a doubt.
ma'am.
In the PDF, split and fascinator PDF formula,
Mm-hmm.
it was given n underscore EFF underscore TM
Mm.
divided by Z underscore EFF underscore TM. So, how we will get n underscore EFF underscore TM?
I didn't get your point. Can you repeat? I have opened this PDF in front of you on the screen. So
We have to assign flow code.
yeah, Flukit would already. This is ready-made available example.
Normally we will assign the normal lumped code.
Here forget code you have to assign. Even the in PDF also in Newman 2013 this 2013 paper where they have designed the same unit cell, they have also used Phuket code only.
Okay,
So
okay.
this is the reference paper. You can if I could able to upload here, I'll do. Otherwise, I'll email you. So this is the base reference paper actually for the same design which is available in HFSS also.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Hello, Kasturi
Yes,
ma'am.
please go ahead.
Ma'am, I'm having one doubt. Is it possible to wrap already implemented patch antenna to the cylinder, or we need to redesign it?
Ma'am, Pooja ma'am, you need to redesign it
Yes, ma'am.
because if now these three layers will crash directly if you want to wrap. So you have to first base you have to wrap, then you have to wrap second layer and third layer. So separately you have to do.
Okay, but if I'm having one antenna with me, and if I select only one layer, and then wrapping is
Now that
possible.
probably is possible. You have to first identify the point where this antenna and this cylinder. It should be perfectly, they should be conformal or perpendicular to each other. Then layer by layer you can do.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll check this again, taking a lot of time if I have a ready-made example so that I can directly show you the results. I think it's done. Yes, you can see now the results. This is the permittivity value. Blue line says shows a real value of permittivity and red value shows imaginary value of permittivity. You can see negative permittivity for this metamaterial. This is retrieved permeability. Here permittivity real and imaginary value can able to see in green and red color. So metamaterials are one of the important materials, man-made materials. You can create your permittivity, permeability value based upon your requirement. There is one more concept, magnetodielectric material. In that, this permittivity and permeability value you can enhance in positive ways, like both positive. Generally, for all materials which is naturally available, for them permeability value is always 1. And permittivity value, of course, material by material is getting changed. In case of magnetodielectric material, the advantage is permittivity and permeability. You can enhance both values. Like suppose I am using FR4 substrate as a base, and then I am using some metamaterial on the top of that. So with the structures, you can have this permittivity permeability value more than actual value of this FR4. So it will help us to reduce the miniaturization. It is helping us to reduce the size of the antenna. So that's how this magnetodielectric concept also useful. I hope you understood the steps for this also. Apart from this, any other doubt if you have, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll wind up the session.
Ma'am, one query is there.
Yes, ma'am.
How partial ground or DGS implemented for conformal antenna design? How to wrap on cylinder if partial ground is implemented?
Okay, in that also the same thing. First, when you're creating the ground plane, you complete that. It will have some initially just create a rectangle. It will not have any thickness. Then wrap it around the cylinder. What is how I have shown here the steps. Once it is done, you create a second layer that would be your substrate layer, enhance that thickness 1.6 and then go back and enhance that ground layer's thickness by 0.035. That's how you can manage that, because in patch it will have some different dimensions and in ground it will not be a whole ground, partial ground will be there. That's why first you have to create a second layer and then come back to the first layer to enhancing the height of or thickness of that layer. I hope you understood. Once again, I'll repeat. Once you are doing this partial ground wrapping, same process you have to use. But first, once wrapping is done, using this right click and then create object from that, you first create a second layer. That would be a substrate. Then once it is done, come back to the defective ground part, enhance the thickness, and that's all. Thank you. Mohanty is a user. They are saying in very informative, valuable session. Thanks a lot. Yadagiri Munigala. Thank you everyone for attending my session.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your valuable session.
Thanks a lot for inviting me. I'm also having a great pleasure to deliver this. And one more announcement I'll do. Every month we are doing webinars from ANSYS end on different topics. I'll separately share the details. I will get email details from madam, and then whenever I'm planning any webinar, I will share the separate link. Those are free. We are providing certificate also. Every month new topic we are delivering, so it will be only for 1.5 hour mostly, so you can join as per your convenience. Separately invitation I will share through email. Thanks a lot for joining.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. We were finding difficult how to put the metamaterial analysis, epsilon and mu in HFSS. Today we got an idea. Flexible antenna design. Usually we design the antenna and we wrap it in the cylinder. Now you have taught us in the reverse manner. Thank you, ma'am. Hope everyone got a good knowledge about the software in designing part. Thank you very much, ma'am, for spending your valuable time.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll leave the meeting. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you all participants for your patient listening. Good night. We will see you tomorrow for the 5th day of lateral FTP. Thank you very much.